What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Club and Country. It's episode number 2 and we're starting to do some stuff with our fixtures coming in August. Our first games in League 2, as you can see, our 5 openers are away against Oldham and Mansfield Town. Then the Cobblers, Northampton Town at home, followed by Tranmere and also Salford away. So 4 away days to start the season and an EFL Cup trip away from home to the Cassams to take on Oxford United as well. So we look at the teams here in League 2. Obviously the first question I got asked in the pre-match interview for the opening game of the season is, can we gain promotion to League 1? Well, this is the team we've got for this season. So far, of course, we've still got a month to go in the transfer window, so we could still make some sales and signings as well. As I mentioned before, right now we've got 18 Welsh players. The rest that are in the reserves right now, they're all non-Welsh. Of course, they're not eligible to play in any of our competitive fixtures. Are we good enough to go up to League 1? Well, here's what I'm going to say about this. It's probably now become the weakest team in League 2 after all the change we've made to it and bringing in low-rated players just because they're Welsh. I think because of how much I've been struggling in FIFA 22, I definitely think we've got a chance of going up. But I can't see it being like in my Court to Glory save where we kind of dominated in the first season in League 2. I think it's going to be a lot more difficult than that. I definitely am aiming for the playoffs, there's no doubt about that. At the start of the season, our objective in the league was to gain automatic promotion as one of the stronger teams in the division. But again, because of all the change to the team, how much I'm struggling on FIFA 22, I'm targeting playoffs this year. I'm definitely targeting promotion, but via the playoffs. Doing it in the top 3 is going to be very difficult indeed. Still, for the first game of the season, it was indeed Oldham away at Boundary Park. Nice little ground, been there a couple of times. Taking them on away, took the lead early through Catton, scoring a thunderbolt of a half volley, giving us the lead before the host would get back on level terms. 22 minutes after the restart, a chance to get back in front, which we would do. A little bit of a lucky goal, but we will take it. Collins going down the right-hand side, shot saved by the goalkeeper, but the rebound turned in. You might have noticed I was able to get away from the defender there quite quickly. I do feel as though pace in this division is going to be really important, because I was mentioning actually on Twitter last night, if you don't follow me on Twitter, it's at Docklanders. I was giving my talk, let's just say my thoughts even, on FIFA 22 this year, and the things that I think need tweaking, going forward with FIFA. And I have to say, as Cat and Bags' brace here heading in the cross from Collins, I don't feel as though this is a bad game. I really don't. I know this game has got some polarizing opinions from people. Some people really like it, some people don't. It is a much slower paced FIFA than what we've seen in the past couple of years. There's absolutely no denying that. And again, there are a few things that I do believe need tweaking, if not an overhaul. I think one of the things that does need a little bit of a tweak as well is the pace, as we concede a late goal here, but hold on for the victory on the opening day away against Oldham by 3-2. I think pace, I wouldn't necessarily say it's being neutralised in this year's FIFA, but you do find oftentimes that you just can't get away from defenders. And naturally, when you're dribbling with the ball, your pace is going to be reduced. Of course, as we convert Rashesha here to a natural right wing back, that is, of course, going to be the case. When you are dribbling with the ball, you're going to be dribbling at a lesser speed than you would without the ball, of course. But I have seen some ridiculous catch-ups this year, particularly in my Brentford saves so far. And I'm trying to run clear with Wissa, or one of the faster players I've got in the team, because my Brentford team is quite a fast team. And I'm getting caught up by players with 60 pace. It's a bit ridiculous. So I do think pace does need a little bit of a tweaking. As you can see, we signed Colwill here from Cardiff City for £460,000 as we continue to look for a bit more squad depth here. He joins on a 5-year, £1,700 a week deal. Looks pretty decent as well, 19 years old. I think with the pace that he's got, he'll be a lot more effective on the flanks as opposed to being played through the middle at 59 rated so far. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to retrain him to a left, to say left wing or right wing. I think it was left wing, wasn't it? Yeah, left winger. So I think pace is one thing that EA should be looking to tweak. And I'll give my thoughts on the gameplay a bit more in actually the next episode, where I've got more time to talk about it. But as you can see here on the back of the signing of Colwill, I made another signing as well. It was another winger, Sam Pearson from Bristol City, trying to bring him from Ashton Gate here to Rodney Parade, which we were able to do as well. So yeah, another lad coming in here, 19 years old, 58 overall. And again, the main reason why I was going for these guys is because, again, I think pace is going to be quite important in League 2. I know it's not as effective this year. It's a lot less effective, but this guy's got some very good pace. 81 acceleration, 79 sprint speed. Getting away from the back line time is going to be really important, because I think the game's going to be quite inconsistent and hard to read in League 2 this year. I think there's going to be a lot of games which are low scoring, because that's just how FIFA 22 has started off for me. But as we know, and we saw last year on my Call to Glory save, when you're playing at this level, the standard of defending is really, really poor, and the standard of goalkeeping is also quite poor as well. So most shots that hit the target are probably going to find the back of the net. So if we can get away and have a clear shot on goal, as long as we hit the ball between the beams, we should be all right. So that's the most important thing that I've been looking for between now and the end of the transfer window. And of course, just signing players for squad decks. At the moment, we don't have a lot of it. Just 20 Welsh players in our side right now. It means as we head into the second game of the season away at the Kassam against Oxford United in the EFL Cup first round, I rotated my entire team apart from one player, because I just didn't have enough players to rotate the entire team. So squad depth is of course going to be an issue. And of course, when you're playing in League 2 as well, as you know, there are so many games to squeeze in. I've mentioned before, I think personally that there's too many games in the Football League, and there's too many cups as well. You've got 46 games in a league season, so you're also going to be playing every single weekend, as you don't go on international breaks in League 2 and League 1, but also a lot of the games kind of midweek. Then you've got to fit in the EFL Cup, and because you're a League 2 side, you start off in the first round, there's no buys. Then you've got to fit in the FA Cup, and because you're a League 2 side, you start in the first round, there's no buys. Then you got to fit in the EFL Trophy as well. I think there's just too many games. So naturally, to cope with the amount of match load, you need a thick squad, you know. So definitely between now and the end of the transfer window, there's very little money left. But I need to pick up some more players for our squad, because we're going to be very tired indeed, playing lots and lots of midweek games as well as every weekend as well. So yeah, for the third game of the new season, second one in the league, once again away from home, aiming for back-to-back victories, but sadly we would lose this game by 2-0. 2-0 away against Mansfield Town. The Stags getting the win here, and this was again a game which kind of like showcased what I think it's going to be like this season in our first year at Rodney Parade. Like, very unpredictable, really, really unpredictable. Heading into that game now on the back of scoring 3 on the opening day away against Oldham. I only got one chance in the entire game, and I blasted it wide with Collins. Ironic, considering what I was talking about earlier. If I get a shot away and hit the target, it should find the back of the net. That time, couldn't even hit the target, fired it way wide. So a 2-0 loss there, and then following that, a goalless draw at home to Northampton Town. Cobblers, no really, never gets old. But yeah, I think definitely this year, again, the games are going to be so hard to call and so inconsistent. I really don't think form is going to count for much at all in our first season at Rodney Parade. And that's why, again, whilst the standard of our opponents in this division is going to be very, very low quality, I think because of how much I'm struggling in FIFA 22 and the challenge is really great as well, I'm targeting playoffs. You know, I really can't see us finishing in the top 3 this year, because again, scoring goals is going to be difficult. That's my main area of difficulty in this year's FIFA. I think it's going to be very difficult indeed to go up in the first season, although that of course will be my main target, although playoffs is looking most likely. Anyway, our final game of the episode here was away against Tranmere Rovers. Sorry, penultimate game of the episode was away against Tranmere Rovers. They started the season bottom of the table with 0 points. I was thinking, okay, alright, we've only won one of our first 3 games, but if there's ever a game we need to target a 3 points, is this one, and we get it as well. In the first half, we hit the post with 15 minutes to go. I talked about this guy in the first episode. I like him a lot. Coming in from Swansea City, Tivonge Rashesha, who of course we've trained to a right wing back in this side. He's got some pace. I want to get his stamina up as much as possible, because of course there's no wide midfielders in this team. We've got 2 wingers but no wide midfielders, so I want to get his stamina up as much as possible, and the attacking and defensive work rates both up to high. He looks like a pretty decent player, to be fair. Scored the only goal of the game in that one. And again, hitting the target. That's just the most important thing when going through to shoot in this division here. Because again, the standard of goalkeeping is quite poor. You'll probably score most of your one-on-one. So just hit the target, man. That's got to be my message to myself every single time I'm running clear and getting a shot away on goal. Just hit the target. Still following out, we did see that Hilton's transfer talks broke down. Now, we had a loan to buy offer for one of our youth players. That really tall 6'6" youngster that we're converting to centre half. We of course rejected it because we don't have enough Welsh players to let players go, either on loan or permanently. And for our final game of today's episode, the final one of August, right before the transfer window will come to an end, Salford City away from home. They had the first couple of chances in the game, one of the stronger teams in the division. Good save initially by a goalkeeper, but 21 minutes in, they would unfortunately take the lead after some good dribbling in the area. Mella turns in the ball across the face of the goal. And you would have noticed there, I made an interception with Rashasha, but it was one straight back by Salford. That's another thing I'll talk about in the next episode in more detail, and I talked about on Twitter last night as well. First and second touches in this year's FIFA are absolutely horrific. But still, that'll do it for today's episode. 5 games in, start the season off. As you can see, only 2 wins on the board. And like I said, this is going to be a lot more challenging than last year's Court to Glory save, no doubt about that. But that was this episode of Club and Country, guys. Big thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed it, and if you have, then please drop a like. Myself, you'll have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode of C&C very soon.